this time from a MiG-21. The camera plane and 3 others were scrambled to intercept an unknown craft flying at very high speed, which is visible here as a large, cylindrical-shaped object. And as the Russian planes close in, the UFO suddenly picks up speed and disappears. Here it is once again. You'll notice the cylinder seems to be traveling at about the same speed as the MiGs until about here. And then it seems to increase its speed, which, according to pilots, must have reached at least Mach 3 in about 10 seconds.
That's just insane to me. I mean, is this real footage? I mean, I spent most of the week just trying to track down, can I identify this ejection seat? You know, is this correct for a MiG-21 cockpit? And actually what I found is, I don't think it's a MiG-21 cockpit. Here's a MiG-21. So awesome aircraft, actually. It's super small, very fast, but it has to fly fast, so it can't go slow at all. And that's pretty high, actually, for a MiG-21. You know, they're fast, tiny aircraft, and they get close to you. They're very hard to see because they're so small with your radar or your eyes, so they can be very dangerous if they get into range. But you'll notice here is that this is very tight, right? This, if you're sitting in the back, let me zoom in here. Sitting in the back seat, you know, looking over the shoulder, you're going to have this canopy bow right here. Watch this shadow go down the back of the seat as I'm decking forward. You see the shadow right here? That is a canopy bow. Okay, so it's a perfect circle there. That is a canopy bow, and if you look onto the MiG-21 here, the canopy bow is right there, so I don't think there's enough space. Plus the seat, I couldn't identify the seat. There's no room here. I think what they're actually in is probably a MiG-29. I think this makes more sense to me. You know, if you're videoing right out the side of the aircraft here, there's plenty of room. You can see over, and then I was trying to identify actually if the cockpit looked the same. It's hard to tell, you know, that usually I would have mirrors, etc. But I believe this is a MiG-29, and the canopy bow is he's actually just filming right ahead of the canopy bow, because there is one there, obviously, as the shadow goes over. Okay, so I think it's actually in a MiG-29. I don't think this is a MiG-21 that they're filming from. But now let's look at this thing. I mean, it's just crazy. So this thing's just flying like this, I believe straight and level, maybe turning with them, it's hard to tell. But I believe they're just finishing the intercept here, approaching within 2 miles. They're definitely within 2 miles, I think, because I see some detail on it. And now as they're intercepting here, as you're going to watch, as they're trying to get closer to this thing, it just accelerates away. And again, this is a maneuver that normal planes just can't do. We can go that fast, just can't accelerate like that. So right here, I believe this is like the first frame. They're approaching at high to low. So that canopy bow is going by under the shadow. And now they're just turning. So they are turning. I guess this is a low G, maybe 2 to 3 G turn. It feels like he's going around 400 knots, I would guess. Up high, around 25,000 feet, I think, is what it feels like based on the clouds. And the sky, as you get, the higher you go, the darker the sky gets, obviously changes with environmentals. As they're still continuing here, now this is where this thing just accelerates, and you'll see it kind of extends here. This could be the canopy. So you do get weird gradations in canopy. It's a very large piece of, you know, it's basically transparent aluminum almost. And so you will get variations in that, and I think that's just what we're seeing here. I don't think it's like some crazy extending, or at least it could be extending, but you can see the glass here. See, there is some reflections in the glass, and so I believe it is moving with the glass. It's not doing some crazy dance or something, but it is accelerating out of the frame, and planes just cannot do that, and especially there's no surfaces on it. Okay, so you can see detail on this thing. You know, I think we're around, depends on the size, obviously we don't know the size. Based on detail really is what I can tell. If you can actually make out little detail, and here I can tell that the sun is hitting on this side of it. So I see shadow. It looks like a curvy cylinder thing, like all of it curved. And so because I can see detail in there, I think I'm within a couple miles. Normally on a Viper, it'd be 1.5 miles. I can see where the tank breaks out on the actual fighter itself. So I would say this is around 1.5 miles is my guess. If it's 1.5 miles, then this is about the size of I would guess a flanker or F-15, so a large fighter. Those are about 60 feet long. So 50 or 60 feet long, I would say. And you'll see it just accelerate.
And as the Russian planes close in,
Watch.
the UFO suddenly picks up speed.
Level with them, and then it just takes off. I mean, that is crazy. And he over-rotates there to try and track with it. And then the tape ends. So just insane. Let me just show you a couple demo videos. Let me show you how a plane needs to turn. Okay, so as far as we know, it goes into the direction that it's going because we use aerodynamics. So even this A400M, pretty cool. So you'll see that's how it's able to accelerate. Okay, it's lift vector pointing out, okay, pointing perpendicular to the flow of air over the wings. That's how our airplanes all turn, or how we understand airplanes that turn. It doesn't matter if it's a A400 or if it's like an F-16. You'll see here. So I'm expecting the nose of the plane to point in the direction it's going, towards where it's accelerating. Because that's how we know to fly through the air. But that thing did not do it, right? It just kept pointing the same direction. So that is what's just insane to me about this video, is that A, it's a flying cylinder, okay, because you can't see anything else there. And then B, it just takes off like that. It just moves. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm out of here, guys. See you later.